Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoyed these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I'd really appreciate it, and I'd be able to send videos of watches like this to your inbox as soon as tomorrow morning. If you like this watch, you can buy it right now on our website, thewatchbox.com, where you can buy, trade, and sell luxury watches 24 hours a day and globally on thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing one of the least common of the SIHH 2012 Jaeger-LeCoultre novelties. It's the JLC Grande Reverso Ultra Thin 1931 small second with white gold case. So white or gray gold, as it is solid white gold, and there is no rhodium plating. It's simply a homogeneous high-end alloy as used by Rolex and Patek. But you have the sleek profile of the tribute to 1931 that bowed as the 80th anniversary Reverso the year prior in 2011. This watch has those dimensions, so 27.4 millimeters across the case from 9 to 3, not including the crown, 7.6 millimeters thick, so a good deal thinner even than a Royal Oak 15202, which is my general benchmark for thin watches. And you'll also note that lug to lug, it's fairly reasonable, though a Grande Reverso, nevertheless 46.7 millimeters lug to lug. You could wear this watch on a smaller wrist, and should you wish to accessorize, the flush fit strap has a 20 millimeter spacing, and you will have a world of options in that standardized strap size. That said, I like this factory piece as it's substantial and handsome. It's a black matte finish, large rectangular scale alligator leather with a monotone stitch, as you can see, a folded but tall edge profile, almost a sheer profile, drilled very close to the case, so there's a fully integrated look. You cannot see any daylight between case and strap, so it has the look of a solid band of material on the wrist. That said, it does create a little bit of stiffness, so I would say due to the fact that there is that virtual flare fighting you, the watch wears more like it's 52, 53 millimeters lug to lug. I'd actually say that the lower limit for wearing this watch is probably a wrist 14.5 centimeters in circumference. You will note that the strap is paired with a JLC matching white gold pin buckle, and you'll note AU 750 on the reverse. Material to match the case the way it should be. The case is classic Reverso. You have a combination of the rounded and conical lugs, and a lot of folks are only used to seeing Reversos like this on the internet, so they don't realize how wonderfully rounded and serially rounded the flanks of the case actually are. It's entirely rounded in profile to slide underneath the cuff. It's conical and rounded, not just in how it slopes off the side, but also how the tumble home wraps around the flanks of the case and it tapers on both sides. So the Reverso case, perhaps a little bit more complex than you might have anticipated, but redolent of Art Deco style from every angle. The first Reverso, created in 1931, featured these same lines: the conical ends, the taper of the case profile, the rounded profile juxtaposed against the rectilinear geometries and right angles of the timepiece as viewed from head on. Now back then, the idea was that you would have a rotating case. It was a sports watch, the idea being as a polo-specific timepiece, you could rotate what was then a glass crystal out of harm's way and show the solid case back, and when you were done with your polo match, rotate the case back, and now you can tell time again. Well, today, that blank case back is almost exclusively a matter of amusement and a means of puzzling your friends who may wonder what it is on your wrist, and also a canvas for enameling, engraving, miniature painting, or customization. Now, it's the dial where you find the business end of the watch. So, in 1931, LeCoultre, which was then the principal spearheading the project, did not have the ability to make the case and did not design or patent the case. It was actually designed by a Frenchman who first patented the watch in France, and then the movement came from Tavannes. It was Tavannes caliber 64 because LeCoultre did not have a shaped and sized caliber for the case. As a result, LeCoultre put its name nowhere on the watch, and the first models were simply signed Reverso. It proved to be an enduring brand, but this timepiece is a throwback to that original in that it is quite minimally branded, which is both historically evocative and refreshing in this modern era of dial text run amok. Now what you see is a grained silver dial that has a wonderful pebbly texture, and it's a matte finish, so it's silver, but it's not a silver metallic sunburst. It glows rather than explodes, and there's a very dark series of transferred indices outboard acting as dart-style hour indices, railroad track for the minutes outboard, blued broadsword hands for hours and minutes, and then there's a sunken sub-second with its own small rectangular railroad track for constant seconds. Numeral 12, the only one on the dial. Now, the case back is a satin-finished, straight-grained, flat profile. This is why Reversos can be a little bit quirky in the way they wear. And you'll note that the middle digit of the case code is 3, which means white gold. You'll also note the little fish and the 3-bar symbol. Post-1984, water-resistant Reversos are a thing, but it's just 30 meters, so you don't want to get this one too wet. Splash and inadvertent rain exposure only. It is a manual wind watch. And the manufacturer caliber 822, yes, JLC now puts its own movements in the Reverso, is a pleasure to wind. It has a crisp detent. You can hear it, you can feel it. It's lovely. When you wind it fully, it has 45-hour power resistance, or power reserve, I should say, and just enough winding resistance to give you great pleasure. 21,600 vibrations per hour is the beat rate, and one of the features I love most about the Reverso, this has changed recently with the soleil or sunburst pattern inside the chassis. It's the engine turning on the interior of the chassis itself, where you can see both hallmarks as well as the maker's mark of Jaeger-LeCoultre. That's right, not only does JLC today make its own movements, it also makes its own Reverso cases. An entirely manufactured product, but a throwback to the days when it was neither case nor movement by LeCoultre or Jaeger-LeCoultre. In fact, the Specialty Horlogère company established with Jaeger at the end of the 1930s eventually, and it was established to distribute the Reverso. It eventually became the modern Jaeger-LeCoultre. So in many ways, the genesis of the modern Reverso and Jaeger-LeCoultre, the manufacturer, are one and the same. You can see this Grande Reverso Ultra Thin and make it your own on the watch box.